Hey guys, welcome back to my Lakers MyGM. It is going to be trade deadline. This is the last episode of the first season that we're allowing to do any trades along with a contract extension. So we got to get Roy Hibbert out of here. We don't have to, but he's unhappy with the team. We want assets for him, and maybe, who knows, in the summer we could sign him again because Roy Hibbert is not a bad player in 2K, and I really liked him. With that said, I have this 3-team trade proposed for the Washington Wizards and the Denver Nuggets. I really like the Kenneth Faried trade compared to the DeMar DeRozan trade, and you guys know I want to go after Kelly Oubre as well, so I threw in Kelly Oubre, sending him to the Lakers, Nene sending him to the Denver Nuggets, and Kenneth Faried going to the Washington Wizards, along with, I think, Gallinari as well going to the Wizards. But overall, looking at this trade offer, I feel like I could have done a little bit things differently. First and foremost, I did not want Kenneth Faried's massive contract on this roster, so I was kind of eager to take on a contract like Nene, who's an expiring contract as well, or even a young guy like Kelly Oubre, who has 2 years on his contract. So I wanted the least amount of contract player available, and that just wasn't working out for me. The 3-team trade did not work out. I kept trying different variations, but apparently Nene is just such a valuable asset to the Wizards, they did not want to give him up. So I gave up on the Washington Wizard trade, and then I moved on to the DeMar DeRozan trade for the Toronto Raptors. And I still try to make a 3-team trade with Kenneth Faried and the Toronto Raptors. And DeMar DeRozan was just too valuable for the Raptors to give up. I understand the Raptors not wanting to give up DeMar DeRozan, but the Wizards not wanting to give up Nene for Kenneth Faried? That makes absolutely no sense to me. Kenneth Faried literally, I guess, in 2K has no value whatsoever, and I don't know what that says about Kenneth Faried. This has to be a make or break year for Kenneth Faried, because that contract and his playstyle, I don't know how well it fits in the NBA. So with the failed attempt with the Wizards and then the Raptors, I tried a small 3-team trade. I just wanted to make a 3-team trade because, you know, 3-team trades are fun. They're fun to do. So I threw in the Boston Celtics just to give him Jonas Jerebko for Boris Diaw, and they just weren't having it either. So I finally gave up and decided, you know what? A lot of comments said try a 3-team trade, make a splash, and I like that. I like the suggestions. And I was just like, it's not going to be possible to make a 3-team trade. Kenneth Faried has no value to do this. So in the end, we just traded Brandon Bass, Roy Hibbert for Kenneth Faried and Wilson Chandler, along with 3 draft picks. Now, those 3 draft picks, they play a big part in the next trade we do in this episode. I wasn't done yet. I'm not keeping Kenneth Faried on this team. I know he's a good hustle guy, very athletic, but in 2K, his game just does not translate very well. His preseason game against the Clippers, he didn't really show up at all in that game, and I think that hopefully that's not something that what he's going to be doing in the regular season, where he's just not going to show up to games. Now, the only reason we got Wilson Chandler is because a lot of you guys suggested that as well. Plus, we just to have some trade value, and that's what we wanted to go for with this Kenneth Faried trade. We want to have assets for in the summertime. We're going to be able to trade those said assets, because the 2016 draft picks, I'm probably not going to keep them. I'm going to try to trade them away. Hopefully they're a high pick so we can get a decent player out of it. As for trading away Kenneth Faried, I picked up Joel Embiid. The 76ers have a ton of cap room, and now they don't. You know, if you ever want to trade a guy like Kenneth Faried with that contract to any team in a MyGM series, trade him to the 76ers. They have a ton of cap space, and you'll just mess up everything they're trying to do. Well, they're not really trying to do anything in a 2K MyGM, at least. So we were able to give up 2 2016 first-round draft picks for Joel Embiid and a 2017 draft pick as well. So I think it was a good trade. Those 2 draft picks weren't 2-star value. They weren't even 1.5-star value. They were just 1-star value. So overall, in the long run, I think Joel Embiid will be a better player than Kenneth Faried if he stays healthy and if he stays on this team, because both him and Randall are 1-year contracts who I think have a player option. So we're going to see which one plays better and which one we should keep if they don't have a player option. But that was the huge trade deadline spectacular for the Lakers MyGM in the first season. I can't wait to get on to the next season. We're going to be playing a few more games and seeing what happens, see if our team gets turned around with adding Joel Embiid and Wilson Chandler. I'm not sure about Wilson Chandler's future with this organization, but he's definitely going to be here for at least the remainder of the season because he does have a hefty contract for what he's not really worth in 2K. Because we'll give him a chance, though. We'll definitely give him a chance, unlike Kenneth Reed, where we just know he won't be productive with us. So with that said, I'm going to let you guys rate my trade. This is the last trade for the first season, like I've been saying. Let me know how I did. I think I got the most assets available. I'm not looking at production because obviously Kenneth Reed is a higher overall. He's going to help me win sim games, but he's not going to be a very reliable player for this team and when I use them in user games, because maybe if I was just to sim a whole MyGM season and never play a game, maybe Kenneth Reed will give us a few more wins. But since I like playing the games in a MyGM series, that's not going to happen when we actually play with him. Overall, I think it was a good trade. Just looking at the future, we got a lot of assets for a lot of picks, and especially in the 2017 draft where we should be having realistic draft prospects. Here's hoping that we don't strike out in free agency because that's what we're betting on right now. Once Kobe retires, that's $25 million off the books, and then we're going to be trying to trade Wilson Chandler depending on how well he does with this team for the remainder of the season. We'll be looking to trade him as well, along with any 2016 draft picks. So it's looking great. It's looking great for free agency. We probably could have kept Roy Hibbert. I kind of want to try to get him in free agency. So who knows? We could have Roy Hibbert back on this team because he's a very productive player. That's about it for this episode. Stay tuned for tomorrow when I play my first game with the new look Lakers after the big trade deadline. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.